Hello, welcome to my second live of the day. Today is Saturday, the 2nd of August, and it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon UK time. I was here already this morning because I was free and I wanted to try and see if there was anyone around. And so here I am again, mainly because I told many people that I'll be here today at 4, so I have to stick to my promise. So here I am. I'm going to stay whatever time I need to stay. For those who don't know me, who are catching this randomly, I'm a therapist and coach, and I come on YouTube and TikTok, and I do lives whenever I can to basically take questions and talk about mental health, therapy, human psychology, human behavior, relationships, depression, anxiety, addiction, anger issues, anything at all that is to do with the mind, and how we can enhance any aspect of our life by understanding the mechanics of our mind. If we can understand how we function, how we feel, how we think, then we can also understand people better, and everything becomes easier. So, Winnie Eileen, hello, great to see you. I am interested in everything. Okay, is there anything you'd like to talk about? Just ask me. What I'm going to do to get started with the live, I always read some of the posts that I put out and I comment on them. So I use both TikTok and YouTube. And hopefully by the end of it, you will have an idea of what I do, and that may inspire you to ask me something. Unless I have questions already. And also I want to apologize for the noise. My neighbors are drilling next door. Oh, it's very, very annoying. But there's nothing much I can do about it. I live in London, and so they're doing some constructions here, downstairs, and a building next door, and also the corner shop as well. So there's a lot of noise at the moment, and there's nothing much I can do about it. Because if I close out the window, I'm going to suffocate, and we don't want this to happen. And so hopefully we're going to calm down, and we'll be able to be quiet and peaceful. Okay, Winnie Eileen. For example, I am a people pleaser. So, okay, let's talk about this. I know all the theory, but I find it difficult to manage on a practical level. The noise is not a problem. Okay, no worries. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about this. So if you are a people pleaser, that'll be because you have decided at some point in your childhood that it was good for you, that it was safe to behave in such ways. And so basically everything to do with our personality are traits that we develop because in childhood they help us feel better about ourselves. People pleasing is typically born from trauma or neglect. And again, neglect is a type of trauma. But because most people don't know this, that's why I say trauma and neglect. But essentially, any situation in childhood that have got us to feel overwhelmed for too long, and if we have not been given any coping mechanism, those events would change our personality. It will change the way our brain functions. It will change the way we see ourselves. And it will also change the program that we have that is made of subconscious triggers, blocks. And they're all things that are happening at the subconscious level. They're emotional, and they help us navigate through life. And so people pleasing is essentially the fourth system of protection when we are on a state of survival. On a survival mode, just 1 second, please. I got ADHD, and sometimes it can be difficult for me to focus when there's some noise. So that will make it easier for me. So people pleasing is phoning, and so you understand that we can fight, flight, freeze, or phone. Phone is the system number 4 when we have to survive a situation. And what it means is what we must please, pacify, appease a threat so that it doesn't hurt us anymore. Or if it's neglect, we must develop that behavior to please others so that we are being seen, so that we're not invisible anymore, and so we have the attention of the adults, and now we feel seen, accepted, and safe. So whichever it is, abuse or neglect, phoning is a system that we develop to feel better about ourselves. It is a system that exists to soothe our nervous system because we still believe that the threat is there. And so there are different ways to address that. We can either address the existing belief that get us to need to please people. And that would be my suggestion always, if we have access to therapy. There are some method of therapies that can absolutely help you change that. Because it's all down to some belief that you have created in childhood because of some of the things that happened to you. So if you can change those things, now you don't need to please people anymore. You don't need to feel the urge to make everyone happy. And we must highlight that when we phone, when we are people pleasing, we don't do this because we want people to be happy. We do this because we want to feel safe. And so it doesn't come from a place of goodness or happiness or kindness. It's really survival. And so what we don't want to do is we don't want to manage the people pleasing. People pleasing is a system that is there to protect you. It's good. As far as your mind is concerned, it's the best thing that you've come up with. What you want to do is to really, really find out why you still feel that you need to please people. You want to address the anxiety, the depression, you want to address the separation, you want to address the root cause of why you need a system to protect you. So we can talk about it if you want. But there's something that you could actually apply even if you do not have access to therapy, and it's essentially addressing your thoughts and your emotions. It's to learn how to reconnect with both your emotions and understanding the nature of your thoughts. And so there's a lot of different ways to address this, but when it comes to emotions and feelings, we want to learn how to feel again without thinking about those emotions and feelings. And with the thoughts, we want to realize that thoughts are only noise in the background. They don't really mean anything. They're not always that important. They don't always tell the truth. They're just there. And we don't know this. We think that we are thinking those thoughts. And also, because we don't have a good relationship with our emotions and our feelings, we're trying to avoid some emotions and some feelings. That creates a lot of problems. So all in all, those are the two things that basically create all of our problems. It's a poor relationship with our body, as in emotions and feelings, and not understanding the nature of our thoughts. I find it difficult to focus because of the noise, I've got to admit. I'm going to do my best. It's been ongoing for 2 weeks now, so I'm kind of getting a bit used to it as much as I can. Okay, so how do we deal with people pleasing? We want to realize why we are people pleasing. Remind yourself, do I want to do this because I want them to be happy? No. I'm doing this because I want to feel safe. And so now I address the situation. Am I really unsafe? What is going to happen? Challenge your own thoughts. This is the separation. You realize that your thoughts are just there. You can question your thought. You don't need to believe all of your thought. You don't need to hold on to your thoughts either. You can choose which thought you're going to let in and entertain more, and which ones you're going to let go of. So now, challenge your own thought. Is it true that I'm not safe? Is it true that if I don't say yes, if I don't comply, something bad is going to happen? Look at it objectively. And you're going to see, no, it's fine. I can say no. I can set boundaries. I can speak my truth out. I'm an adult. I'm a grown-up. I can do whatever that I want. So that will help you address this at a superficial level. However, if your problem is really, really deeply embedded within your subconscious mind, as in if you have been traumatized a lot, it's all a matter of intensity. Then challenging the thought will not be enough, because your emotions will overcome your thoughts. There's a network between our thoughts and our emotions that goes both ways. What we think creates more emotions and feelings, and how we feel also creates more thoughts that go in line with those emotions and feelings. It's both ways. And so it's very important to realize this. And so depending on where you are in your journey, how much you are affected, how consuming it is in your life, how problematic it is, then we can either address it from the superficial conscious mind aspect of it by challenging your own thought, or you can do some exercise to address your emotions. So therapy is what changes your belief. But there's one thing that you can do to address your emotions right here, right now, whenever you're overwhelmed, is to bring yourself back into the moment, into the present moment. You do this through breathing and through the practice of mindfulness. Breathing mindfully or any other technique of mindfulness will help you go from a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state. Sympathetic state is survival. Parasympathetic state, chill, rest, digest, process things. Calm, peace, good. So to do this, First thing that we teach everyone is to breathe mindfully. So check on YouTube or Google or internet, AI, wherever. Check any type of mindful breathing, learn them, practice them. And they will remind you, they will teach you, they will help you how to come back in this moment and move from a state of survival to a state of mindfulness, mental clarity, peace. I am here, everything is fine. And from that place, once you are there, then you can challenge your thoughts because you may not have been able to do this before. So again, it depends on how much our emotions are taking over in those moments. And again, we're all different. It's not, no one is better or worse. We're just all different. And so bring yourself back in the present moment and then challenge your thoughts and do it again and again. And when you are realizing, I can say no, then learn how to say no within your comfort zone. It may be hard for you to say no straight away. You can say no. I don't know. Find a way to set some boundaries and then expand your boundaries, and eventually you'll be able to be firm and to say no. That's it. Take it or leave it. That's me. You either comply or we're not friends. It's that simple. And then remind yourself it's a skill that takes repetition and practice to be reinforced over time. So there you go. But if your trauma have been really, really, really intense, this may not be enough, or it may take much, much, much longer time. I believe that everything is possible over time, but it's about being able to keep repeating the process until it works. And so the drive is what matters. And because we are emotionally driven, this is where, again, if we have been badly affected emotionally, it's important to find some system that can address your emotions. And so if you don't have access to therapy, and by therapy, I don't mean talking therapies. I mean hypnotherapy, any type of therapy that addresses your subconscious mind, transformative therapies. But if you don't have access to that, you can always learn mindfulness, meditation. And those things over a long period of time will help you clarify things, understand things about yourself, and being more able to apply those systems that I explained at the beginning of our chat, which is questioning your own thought. And when you are able to question your own thought, you remind yourself, I don't believe in that anymore. Now I can say no if I want to. There's a very many elements to that, but the more you repeat that, the more you're going to create new habits of thought that will become your default setup at some point. That's it. What do you think about this, Winnie? Does it help at all? Do you understand the whole thing? Do you want me to explain again in different way? Lynn, hi Didi. Hope you are managing to enjoy some sunshine today. I went out a little bit, yes, so there's not a lot of sunshine in London today, I'm afraid. It's quite cloudy, but still nice. Fresh air, people, trees, plants, butterflies, still there. I was at a music festival with family yesterday. Fantastic. First time, quite an experience. Wonderful. What did you see? Where were you? I love music festivals. I go to Glastonbury every year. Lynn, although I love live music, I couldn't relax and enjoy myself fully. I think I've lost my sense of fun, lol. Well, it's not necessarily that. If we're not used to something, if we don't do something for a long time, it takes time to reacquaint to those things. So if you don't go, if we don't go out for a long time, for some of us, going out may become alien again. I remember after the pandemic, everyone was in shock, including myself, going out, we had people, society, how do we interact? We forget about those things. And this is the nature of the brain. The brain uses what we use, and whatever we don't, it loses. And so we can absolutely lose some simple habits if we don't do them. And so it's not that you have lost fun. Maybe you have lost going out in a place that is crowded with a lot of people and noise. I don't know. Some people, like me, for instance, depending on our state, because of our past, if we've been traumatized, if we're neurodivergent, if we have ADHD or any of those things, we will find it difficult, depending on our state, to feel safe in public places. Because there's a lot of noise, a lot of movement, a lot of confusion, and we're trying to be everywhere at the same time. And because of that, it can be exhausting, even though we may enjoy the music. And so I, for instance, I do a lot of festivals, and I realize that depending on my state, I will either recycling bins. I will either remember the gigs that I have attended or not. Some gigs that I wanted to see for a long time, I barely remember anything. And the reason is because I was in a crowd and my brain was busy seeking some sort of emotional safety. And so now that I understand that about myself, whenever I go and see a gig that I want to remember, I go far enough so that I have some space, so I'm not squeezed in, and so I can focus on the moment, and I will remember then that experience. Wu Nono said hi. Hello, Wu Nono. Winnie Eileen, yes, I feel it's embedded in my subconscious mind. Yes, everything that we do is embedded in our subconscious mind. 95% of our mind is subconscious, and that's the emotional mind. Only 5% is cognitive, conscious, and rational. This is quite important because most people don't realize how much of emotional creatures we are. And this is what I always say. We are not thinking creatures that feel. We are creatures of emotions and feelings that think. It goes in that order. Winnie, great tips and thanks. Fantastic. So something that I said was useful. I'm happy with this. Thank you. Lynn, I've always felt unsafe around drunks, unpredictable people. I'm a control freak. So no, it's not being control freak at all. It's because you may belong to those people, like I was talking about, like me, who have been through harsh stuff in childhood, and because of that, our brain is wired for protection. It's not control freak. Is that we believe that we are always at risk of being harmed, hurt, and so that's why we have a system that is constantly on high alert. This is what trauma does. It keeps us on a state of hypervigilance, but it also changes our personality. It makes us people pleaser, for instance, to talk about the first topic of the life today. People pleasing is a very common response to trauma. It makes us have problem with authority. Some of us may have a lot of anger. There's a lot of things that happens as a result of trauma. It changes our personality, it changes our behavior, it changes the way we read the world, we read people, we interpret situations, the way we see ourselves. And so it's nothing to do with control freak. It's just that some of us are more sensitive to our environment because of our past and upbringing. You're not a control freak. Your system is trying to protect you. It's a good thing. But if you understand that, then maybe you can create some systems for you to enjoy being outdoors better. And so like me, now I know that if I want to enjoy something, I need to be in a place that is not overcrowded, not full of drunk. I don't like drunk people either. It's not being control freak. I used to be drunk for 38 years of my life. But when I see drunk people, I understand that the best thing to do is to keep a space between you and them because they're unpredictable. And it's a lot of hassle at times. They can be fun a little bit, no problem, but sometimes they can be a problem as well. And I know this because I used to be so problematic when I was high or drunk. Up to the age of 38, I was really, really a pest. And so because of that, I don't enjoy drunk people either. I don't drink anymore. I'm teetotal. I don't drink at all, like zero. I haven't drinking for years. And I'm happy about this. I haven't taken any drugs either for a long, long time. And so because of that, I don't go in those places anymore. But when I go to music festivals, I'm aware of my surrounding and I make sure that I'm surrounded by people who are not drunk. And maybe something that you want to keep in mind as well the next time that you go at a music festival. Winnie, I'm also scared of drunks. My father was an alcoholic. Yes, I understand. If your dad was an alcoholic, it makes total sense that you have a reaction to them. Absolutely. Lynn, it's a local festival called Belladrum near Inverness. Okay, I never heard about it. Let me check. Belladrum Festival, Tartan Heart. I want to see the lineup. I'm curious about those things. I like my music, and so. Oh, you had Paul Hitton. I love Paul Hitton. Supergrass. I saw them this year in Glastonbury, and 2 years ago. Texas. I saw them also 2 years ago. Simat. She was there this year. Fantastic. You have a lot of good people. Gabriel Aplin, Peter Capaldi, Natasha Bedingfield. Okay, I don't know the rest. But the headliners, great. Paul Hitton, Supergrass, Texas, fantastic. Today is Saturday. I saw you've been yesterday. You were there for Supergrass, I assume. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. It sounds like a nice festival. It looks like a kind of happy family festival. Not too bad in terms of drugs, I would assume. Although there's always some, everywhere. Lynn, yes, I was a people pleaser up until a few years ago. Okay, so you managed to change this. Okay, let's talk about this. What did you do? What happened for you to change and to no longer be a people pleaser? Would you mind sharing with us? And have a sip of tea. Also, for people in the background, if you don't know me yet, I'm here to take questions. So ask me anything. I'll do my best to give you some actionable suggestions. Charlotte Forteza. I come in contact with people who say they want to let go of trauma but can't. Any suggestions? So trauma is a big topic. Are you a professional? Have you studied to deal with people with trauma? Have you learned any protocol? If you come with contact with people who say they want to let go of trauma, and if they can't, then this is where knowing about trauma will help you understand why they can't. It's not the truth of the matter is that it's not that we can or can't. It's whether we're ready or not to move on. Some people believe, including so many people in my profession, they believe that people choose to heal or they choose not to heal. And this is total rubbish. This is absolutely untrue. This is so wrong. We're here to help people, and we need to have empathy and compassion for them. We need to understand that people are ready when they are ready, and it is that simple. And so what we want to do is to connect with them. The most important aspect of helping someone with trauma is that they can trust us. But they believe that we're on the same wavelength, that we come from a good place, we have the tool to help them, and that we see them as people, as humans. We can see their problem, their trauma. We believe them, we're on their side. And then, when that happens, now there's a connection. Next, we use the knowledge that we have to help with people with trauma. So depending on whatever you do, that's when you apply your tools from your toolbox to help people with trauma. That's it. Let me read your question again. In fact, I may have missed something. I come in contact with people who say they want to let go of trauma, but they can't. Yes, so this is a part of your education as a healer. If you are one of them, if you're a therapist like me, then you must understand that people have trauma of many sorts. They don't even understand what it is. And it's for us to find a way to come closer to them and help them peel the layers of the problem until we get to the root. But they need to trust us for this to happen. But do you want to give me some specific examples as to how some of the people you came across couldn't let go of a trauma? A trauma is something, it's not something that we let go of. A trauma is something that happens to us, a situation that is so overwhelming that it disturbs our nervous system. It changes our personality. It changes how we see ourselves. It changes our filters of the world. It's so bad that it changes the way we function. And so we don't get rid of that. What we want to do is to understand why this happened to us, how we have changed, and how we can upgrade our program so that we can undo whatever is harming us from that new program. Does it make sense? Charlotte, yes, okay. Winnie, that is a great tip to practice saying no. In a natural and comfortable way, I observe how some people are cool about saying no. Yes, I mean, if you think about it, no is the first concept that we learn as babies. No, don't touch that. Before that, we didn't understand much about anything. It was just observation. But no, now we understand. It's a message. It says something very specific. And so it shouldn't be really hard for us to say it. But the reason why it's hard is because, again, we have some emotional wounds that are ignited every time that we are trying to say no. When we try to say no, it's reminding us that the last time we said no, we've been punished for that. Or maybe we get into trouble, we get into more hurt. And so that's why we find it difficult to say no, to set boundaries. Charlotte, they seem to want to stay connected to their trauma. They don't really want to change. And so this is why empathy and compassion is so important. No one doesn't want to change. Everyone wants to change. People change all the time. We all change. Every day, every moment, every second, every fraction of a second, we all change. It's the nature of the universe and everything in the universe. Now, how are we changing? In which direction? That's the difference. That's what we want to ask ourselves. And so we all change. However, people are only able to do what they can do based on how safe they feel. And so if someone has been highly traumatized and they are not ready to change, it's because they are too overwhelmed. And they need us to be compassionate, patient, empathetic, and listen to them. No one chooses not to change. A cruel, judgmental society teaches us to behave like that. And I was the same, and we all are. But we want to learn how to be kinder to other people and realize that no one chooses any of those things. We all try our best to feel good about ourselves, but we don't know what sort of baggage they have, what is holding them back, what sort of prison they are trapped in mentally. And so they seem to want to stay connected. It's not that we want to stay connected to our trauma. Our nervous system is designed to keep us close to what is familiar. Our nervous system, our mind, our brain is designed to protect us, to keep us surviving. And so, as far as our brain is concerned, the only one thing that is safe is what is familiar. Because what is familiar has track record. And so, it means that we're good. If I've been whatever I've been through, but I'm still alive, it's a good system. That's all what the brain knows. And so it's going to keep us within a sort of emotional state that reciprocate the past. And so that's why they seem to come across as if they're holding back onto the trauma. It's not that they're holding back onto the trauma, it's that they're so traumatized that they can't function any other way at this point in time yet. And so if I've been feeling anxiety, fear, suspicion for a long time, and I'm still alive, as far as my brain is concerned, this is good. It's a good system. Keep doing it. The example that I often give is some people do horrible things to themselves, and they keep doing those things because they're used to it. It doesn't serve their happiness or their health. But for instance, if I'm addicted to some sort of drugs and I must inject them in my eyelids, then if I've been doing it for a while and I'm still alive, my brain is going to tell me, keep up the great job. This is so you. You never change that. And then we're going to find it impossibly difficult to let go of the addiction because it has become our normal, our familiar, our homely. And so trauma does this. Whatever that it creates in someone, anxiety, depression, the fear of change, all of those states, all of those thoughts, all of those emotions are their normality. They are literally the victims of it. They don't choose that. No one chooses to be a victim, to be in prison. Again, I understand it's not your fault. We all believe that. I used to believe that as well. I used to be very judgmental, very mean to others. I used to be very mean to myself. We all are, because it's a cruel society that we live in. But we want to learn that it doesn't have to be like that. We can learn how to be more empathetic and see people through and realize it's not their fault. It's no one's fault. It was never anyone's fault. It's not even anyone's responsibility. Not their responsibility. It's a burden that they have been dealing with due to no fault of their own since their birth. And so we just do our best based on the big lottery of the universe. And we want to basically understand that those people, if they have a problem, it's down to us to find the solution. It's not because they are not trying to change. We want to change that. For me, any therapist who says that, they should really, really learn about empathy and compassion. But again, I understand I was one of them. So I understand it's the human nature. This is how we've been conditioned. But we can all learn and change and eventually see that some people are ready to change. Some people are just not ready yet. And there's nothing we can do about it at this point in time. What we can do, however, is to connect with them, is to get them to know that we are there, and we will be delighted to have them if and when they're ready to come to us. But the resistance is subconscious. They don't think it. It's a resistance that is happening at a subconscious level. It's emotional. They're not thinking, I'm choosing to keep my trauma. I'm choosing to hold on to it. I'm choosing not to change. It's not like that. We feel first before we think. This is how we designed. First, we have an emotional program, but it's down to everything that happened to us in childhood. And this is going to create a lot of emotional triggers, emotional blocks. There's a lot of pigeons now on my window and doing all sort of having a party, just so you know. So weird. Today it seems like the universe wants to challenge me and my ADHD. Anyway, what was I saying? I lost it. Let me see. So yes, people are not choosing not to change. First, we feel emotions. Okay, what's that? We are programmed to have reactions, emotional reactions to everything that is happening around us and inside of us. The world is full of cues, little triggers everywhere that are going to push on our buttons. And so it can be external triggers, what we see, what we hear, what we observe, the interaction we have with people, or internal triggers, what I think and how I feel. But basically, we react emotionally to everything that happens to us each moment. And then that emotion is going to create a thought. We're going to add a narrative to it to illustrate that emotion, to create an intellectual narrative of it. It goes in that order. And that's why people don't choose not to heal. They feel it first, and then we think something, and they make across like that. But we all feel first. We're all prisoners of our emotional, subconscious, automatic pilot. Now, how do we work on that? When it's happening, we can't change this. But what we can do is, once this has happened, we can work on ourselves to do some inner work, to do some hypnotherapy, to do some meditation, to do any of those things that can help us change the program. And then, so the next time we are facing the same cues, we have more choices to choose from. Because all the choices that we take are not really choices that are 100% free. When we are going on and about in our daily routines, we are reacting based on our subconscious program, and we have a selection of choices. So when we're choosing to do something, it's always down to a choice that is limited based on our emotional setup. And so we believe that we have a choice, but the choice is always very limited. We can only choose things based on how we feel about ourselves. And so the work that we do, not in the moment, but before and after, is to increase our perspective of ourselves so that we have more choices when we are facing the same situations again. I hope it makes sense. And so let me carry on with the comment. If they seem to want to stay connected to their trauma, they don't really want to change. So I hope that I clarified it. What do you feel about this, Charlotte? Lynn, I just spent time working on my lack of self-worth, recognizing that I was the common denominator in my failed relationships, etc., that I needed to say no more and abide by my boundaries more. Okay, so good on you. So you have come to some sort of higher level of awareness, self-awareness. Good on you, Lynn. Very good. Winnie Eileen, I've heard that some people cling to a depression as it gives them an identity. I think in a victim way. Personally, I don't get depression, but I have other trauma response. People don't cling to be a victim. They are the victim of it. That's the difference. When we have depression, we suffer from it. We are the victim of it. When we have anxiety, we suffer from it. We don't choose to be anxious, to be sensitive, to be any of those things. And so people need to realize that indeed we are victims, but we don't choose to be a victim. We are the victim of it. So when someone has a victim mindset or victim mentality, it is true that there is such thing as a victim mindset. But we never choose this. The mindset that we have is the one we've been given at birth, and whether we're able to change it or not, it depends on so many factors. It depends on the environment. It depends on how we feel. If I'm still overwhelmed, if I'm still suffering from depression and anxiety, no matter how much someone is trying to teach me about having a positive mindset, it's not going to work because I will still feel terrible about myself. Feelings are going to overcome the cognitive aspect of our mind, of the process. And so what I want to do is to realize that mindset can be upgraded, but only when we have healed the heart set. Heart set comes before mindset. So people, again, don't cling onto depression. This is, again, a habit that we have because we have been taught to judge people, to tell them that they're not enough, they're not trying hard enough, they're lazy, they're weak, those sort of things. We all do this. We do this to ourselves, We do this to others. I've been doing it all my life up till when I started to church. But it's quite normal in society that is designed like that. Again, that's why I'm saying that we live in a very cruel, mean, and merciless society, and it doesn't have to be like that. When you see someone, you don't want to think, oh, they're choosing to be a victim of a depression. No, 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 no. They suffer from it. And if we tell them that they're victims, we're making it worse on them. It's not going to help anyone. It's going to push them on the brink of unaliving themselves, potentially. So yes, people don't cling onto depression. It's not that it gives them an identity. It is their identity. Whatever that happened to us up to this point is our identity. We don't choose that, right? We don't choose. It is, again, I was talking about what feels familiar. It's just the natural course of how we evolve in our life. Everything that we are is always the continuation of everything that happened to us up to this point. So we're a momentum, and we don't really choose much. Unless we start to work on ourselves, we slow down, we do some meditation, we get some professional help, we address some aspect of our belief, of our subconscious belief, and when we do this, now we're able to change the program. So that when we are back into the automatic pilot mode, we have more choices, and we can create a better life for us. I hope it makes sense. What do you think about this, Winnie? Lynn, I wanted to go back to the festival today, but my health conditions limit my mobility and stamina at the moment. Yes, it's a family-oriented event. Okay, very good. Okay. Well, you've been yesterday, so, it's good. It's still something. Today, I don't know if you can go back. Tom Walker, I've seen him as well this year. I like his stuff. There's a band called Pork Pie. Oh, wow. I wonder what sort of music they do. Anyway, well, I wish you the best, Lynn. Do what feels right for you. But it's a great thing that you have the choice to go to the festival. Charlotte, that seems true. It is safe and familiar. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate this. It also aligns with their belief of who they are and what they deserve. Yes, absolutely. This is true. This is absolutely true. This is what we all experience, not just them, me, you, anyone else watching, anyone else in the world. Everything about our reality is what aligns with our belief and how we see ourselves, who we believe we are in this world. It's the same with everyone. It's the human condition. It's very normal. Now, the problem is when we have some negative belief that are creating problems, restrictions, limitations, suffering in our life. So that's when we want to address those things. But yes, this is right. I agree with you. Devansh KS. I have an addiction. Whenever I am alone, my mind goes to my phone, VPN on, incognito on, and after that I feel very demotivated. But somehow, if I don't get any such situation, days are very productive. Okay? So there are all sorts of different reasons as to why we are addicted to some things. But generally speaking, the way that I see it is that you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my intuition is telling me that you are doing this to escape a feeling. There's a feeling that you don't want to feel, and so that thing that is giving you dopamine is going to allow this to happen. And so the addiction is a system that is preventing you to be productive. Is that what you mean? What I would do is to address the thing that you are doing. Is it something that you love? Is it something that you enjoy? Because there's a lot of reasons as to why we're addicted. The reason why, the first reason is because we are not feeling good in our skin. So there are some deeper root causes. Again, anxiety, depression, lack of purpose, disconnection of any sort, all of those things as the reason why we have a propensity for addiction. We get addicted to feel better about ourselves because we are not happy in our body. There's something that is wrong. But also it could be connected to something that you do. So it's this and that. Nothing is just one thing. It's always many different things. So I'm just showing you different perspective. So first you want to address why you have a propensity for addiction. Some people don't. Some people do. I, for instance, I've got a lot of it because of my conditions, because of my trauma, because of the things that happened to me. And I worked for so many years to get rid of all my addictions. I had so many of them. But the real cause of my problems was not the addiction. It was the reason as to why I needed an addiction in the first place. And so, if it's related to work, maybe you want to also address your work. Sometimes it may not be a serious addiction. Maybe it's just a distraction. Maybe it's just something that is, maybe it's just because we don't want to do that thing. So our mind wants to do something else that provides us with some boost of dopamine. And so, could you tell me, please, do you enjoy what you do? What are you doing? Are you studying? Are you working? Did you choose to do that thing? Because sometimes the solution can be as simple as that. Change what you do. Choose something that you enjoy, that stimulates you positively. And just like that, you don't need an addiction anymore. When we get addicted, one of the reasons of addiction as well, if we have not been traumatized, so this is for light stuff, light addiction, is to distract ourselves from something because we are bored, because we don't like that thing. And so if you have a purpose, that will fix your addiction. People who have addictions and distractions, they have this because they don't have a purpose. They don't have something solid, something amazing, something special in their life that get them going. And so their mind is going to wander and try to find stuff to, again, give them a boost of dopamine. But again, it depends on the level of intensity, how long it's been, how much it's affecting your life. All of those things will basically give me an indication of what sort of things will be best for you. So if you can tell me more about your addiction, maybe we can address this like today if you want. But at a general level, I think this is my answer to you. What do you think about this, Davench? Does that help at all? Lynn, maybe the pigeons are here for therapy. It's because of my husband, because he feeds them. And so he feeds them peanuts. So basically, he masticates them, he put them there, and they all come like crazy. First, there was just one, and now there's a whole bunch of them. It's been going on for years now. And pigeons are so clever that they recognize him. And so just before he comes back home, and he came back home just like a few minutes ago, when they see him in the street, they know that he's going to be home, and so they come to wait for the peanuts. When it's just me, they don't care, because I don't give them peanuts. I like them, but this is my husband's job. This is his thing. He enjoys doing this, so I let him do that. But yes, pigeons are very clever. When we had a dog still with us, they recognized the dog. And so whenever I would take the dog out, because they associated the dog with Matt and the peanuts, they would follow me in the street. And at first I was wondering, why are we doing this? And then I understood. I made the connection. I connected the dots together. And so yes, the pigeons are, I don't think they're here for therapy. That would be a nice, interesting thought, but I think they're more here for the peanuts. Charlotte, thank you. Thank you, Charlotte. Devench, I started trying to meditate a week ago, but I can focus like 2 to 3 breaths. Then 2 to 3 minutes, mind drift and awareness focus doesn't seem to increase. Okay, let's talk about this. So, great job. Well done if you have started to practice meditation. What I want you to realize is that it's a skill that takes time and repetition to reinforce. And we're all very different. And so the most important aspect of meditation is not for you to try to get to a point. It's for you to focus on the doing itself. If you're thinking, it's not here again, I've done it a week ago, then you're focusing on the outcome. And what meditation teaches us first and foremost is to not worry about the outcomes, is to be present in the now, right here, right now. So when you think about outcomes, you're thinking about the future. The whole point of meditation is to learn how to focus on the present, right here, right now. And so I want you to try this. Change first the definition of meditation. Meditation doesn't mean creating peace, emptying your mind of thought, or any of those things. It means focusing on now and returning to that focus. That's it. So the thing that we are after is not to stay focused on that thing. It's to return to that focus. It's to first create a target, a focus. So I'm going to focus on my breath. I'm going to focus on a sound. If I listen to some recorded meditation, I'm going to focus on a visual. Maybe I can stare at a candlelight. Doesn't matter. We choose a focus, an anchor. And then the whole point of meditation is to come back to it. That's it. We come back to that focus. So if I focus on my breath, for instance, I'm going to think, Breathing, nice. I need to zoom in and really tighten my focus onto that point. And every now and then I'm going to think about something. I'm going to think about, tomorrow, what am I going to do? Oh, what am I going to have for dinner? Or what about that guy yesterday, that a-hole who talked me about it? Oh, I hate that guy. Or whatever. And now I'm going to think, I am no longer focused. But it's okay. I don't need to be mad at myself. I don't need to be frustrated, because the whole point of it is to return to the point of focus. And so, with kindness, with self-compassion, I'm telling myself, it's all right, let's come back to that place. And I'm back. And we must know that it will always happen. We will lose the focus. It's part of the game. It's part of the process. And it's a good thing, because it was never about staying on that focus. It was about learning how to return to that place of focus. And so again, you're back into that place, focusing on your breath, focusing on the bird songs, focusing on anything that you want to focus on. And then every now and then you're going to think about something else. My colleague tomorrow, or whatever, my worries, my doubts. And so catch yourself losing focus. And then remind yourself kindly, it's happened again, it's no problem. It was meant to happen. Now, let's come back to that place of focus again and again and again. And this is what meditation is about when you start. Do it. Take your time. There's no comparison. We're all different. But what you're doing here is to develop the skill of returning to a place of focus. You're returning to a place of calm. You're returning to a place of clarity. And the better you become at it, the better you will be able to transfer that skill into your everyday life. So now imagine yourself at work, at the university, in the street, in the shop, wherever that you are. A lot of people, I'm overwhelmed. Oh, I want to talk. I don't know. You know what? Let's breathe and let's return to that place. And now I can create a bubble around me. No matter how much noise, no matter how many people, I'm back to my place of focus. And this is one of the first things that meditation teaches us. Just 1 second, please. My watch is telling me to post my TikTok post now. My second TikTok post of the day. I'm looking now. 2 people. It's out. It's done. That's it. Thank you. Let me come back to you now. So this is what people don't understand about meditation and why it's so hard for them, because it's not possible to stay focused when we just start. Even when we are very advanced, there will always be some oscillation, even there'll be less. But the whole point of meditation is the journey of coming back in this present moment. I hope it makes sense. And if you do that, you're also learning how to focus on the moment, on the doing, never the outcomes. Outcomes don't matter, because outcomes are just happening. They are byproduct, they are the result of what we are doing now. So instead of worrying about what will happen eventually, inevitably, focus on what you're doing now to make this happen, right? That's it. What do you say, Devansha? Does it help with your meditation exploration? Charlotte Forteza, how to help them change their heart set strategies. So this is all therapy. How to change heart set means understanding people's story, their past, what happened to them, how they felt back then, how they see themselves now as a result of that. And this is what therapy does. And so the tool that I use is called RTT. It stands for Rapid Transformational Therapy. And we hypnotize people back into the memories of the past, and we change the meaning of the past, so that in turn we change their personality. And we change the subconscious program. So this is a whole protocol that is very specific. This is what we do. But it depends, for everyone is different. And so this is one tool that I use. Other therapists use different tools. And it's about finding the right therapist with the right toolbox for you at this point in time in your journey. But there's no hack to change someone's heart set. The heart set is the collection of emotional states that we are programmed to feel all day long. So we have 2 things. We have a program that is going to make us feel different ways through the day, because there's an internal clock, depending on what we think we should be doing at what time, where, with whom. And there's also how we react to our environment, external and internal. So all of those are programs that are emotional, and we must address the triggers, the belief, and it's all related to our past, to our childhood. That's it. If you can give me a specific example or case, I'm more than happy to delve into that. But I need you to give me some directions, please. Charlotte. Davanch, I am CLG student, engineer, IIT. Okay, good on you. Devansh, I know what I need to do. It's been 2 years, started 2 years ago and stick to actually, I don't know where my life is going and what I want. I know what I need to do, not what I want. Okay, so this is the problem. You know what you need to do, but you don't know what you want. So basically what you're telling me here is that you are following someone else's dreams. Maybe your parents, maybe society, maybe both. They're telling you that you should be doing this in order to be a good person, to be successful, to be accepted, to be tolerated by society. And so you're doing all those things, but they're not what you really want to do. You don't know what you want to do because you've not been allowed to want what you do. You've just been told what you have to do, what you need to do, what you've got to do. And so this is why you're suffering, because the things that you're doing were never your choice in the first place. They never reflected you. They never reflected the things that you enjoy, the things that stimulate you positively, the things that reflect your natural inner talent that we're all born with. We all have a talent, we all have something special, and we come into this life to explore that thing. And so if you're telling me that you know what you need to do, but you don't know what you want, for me, it's quite explicit. So I would suggest you to spend some time allowing yourself to reacquaint with yourself, do some meditation, think about yourself, let go of all those thoughts, as in, I don't know, we can't let go of thoughts. But learn how to explore yourself. Remember what you used to do when you were a child. What did you enjoy doing? What were you obsessed about? And even now, whatever you go through in your life, what excites you? What are the things that get you, ooh, this is good. And then you forget time because you're thinking about those things or doing those things. And maybe organize some strategies that gets you to do something that is related to those things that excite you more. And that will be you essentially starting to explore the life that you were meant to live. What do you say about this, Devansh? Winnie, for Devansh, I bought a cheap lock box for phone on Amazon, easy to program. It helps me control phone use. So this is not a bad idea, but this only addresses the habits of action, not the habits of thought and emotion. And this is the thing. If you change the habit of action, it's true that we can't do anything about it because it's not there. But until we have upgraded the habit of thoughts and the habits of emotions, nothing is going to change. Because as soon as we get the key, bang, we're back on it. And also, we may not have access to this, but our mind will seek something else to distract ourselves from what we don't want to face. And so what we want to really do is to address our habits of thoughts and our habits of emotions. I can give you a simple analogy. Some people want to lose weight and they go into some sort of boot camps, they train a lot, they don't have access to much food, so they lose weight. They have addressed the habit of action. They don't have access to food, and they are forced to train all day long. They will lose weight. However, because they have not addressed the habits of thoughts and emotion, as soon as they come out, bang, it comes back with revenge. And that's why it's so important to look at the right place. We don't want to address the smoke, we want to address the fire. We don't want to address the symptom of a problem, we want to address the root cause of it. So that's what I'm trying to say. Having said that, it's true that there are some things that you can do that can help you with that. Such as me, for instance, to not be interrupted by my phone, I go on the notification and I disarm all of them. And I only go to my phone when I want to go there. But my phone never gets my attention. Otherwise, with my ADHD, I spend my life there. So some of those things can be useful indeed. But if we have a real problem, it's happening here, and we must address those things first, not just gadget that are going to try to put some band-aid on a much greater problem. Devansh, hi Winnie, this might work, but in CLG, I don't know when somebody might call me or I remember to message. Devansh, surely Didi, it's very helpful and reassuring. Okay, fantastic. I will change the internal dialogue from now as soon as I come back to awareness. Fantastic. Okay, so there you go. Something to get started with. Good on you. Thank you. Winnie, I normally just log down for a couple of hours. I think there are some boxes that allow you to take calls, organize calls and messages before I log down. You get 2 get out of jail chances. Okay. Okay, and totally right. It is only a mechanical strategy to manage it. Okay, thank you. I definitely need to question where it is coming from. All right, thank you, Winnie. Thank you. Devansh, that's very insightful, BD. The root cause is not removed when the environment changes. I have experienced the same. Yes, because we are all, again, run by a subconscious program, but it's not only subconscious, but emotional. The subconscious is an emotional mind. This is what a lot of people don't realize. People talk about conscious and subconscious. What does it even mean? Conscious means words, pictures, images, concepts, intellectual stuff, right? Subconscious means feelings, emotions, sensations. What's the difference? It's not like there's a little voice that is here or there. The voice that is in our body is a different language. It's not the language of the head. It's the language of the body. And so, again, 95% of our mind is emotional and subconscious. And we must learn how to decipher, how to understand the language of emotions, feelings, and sensations. And so the first thing we need to do is to pay attention to how we feel. We have not been taught how to feel. We've just been taught how to think. And because of that, we're trapped in our head and we suffer because our problems are not here, they're there. So instead of feeling and processing those emotions and feelings and learning how to grow from those things, we're avoiding them, we're repressing them. I don't want to feel that, I'm scared of that, or I'm ashamed of that. And so because of that, now we are creating more discrepancy between here and there, and there's a disharmony happening, a dissonance between that mind, and we're all over the place because of that. Because no one has taught us about the emotional mind, nor the intuitive mind, only the rational mind. And so the problem is that we are trapped in that mind. We try to solve, understand, fix everything from here, but the head can only do certain things. There are things that your body does better. There are other things that your gut also does better. Charlotte, message retracted. Okay. Something you want to talk about, Charlotte? Let me have a sip of tea. This is a matcha green tea with honey and lemon, if you're wondering. Charlotte, as a therapist, I'd like to learn more about the heart-set approach. Okay, so if you're a therapist, what sort of protocol do you use? Do you teach RTT? I don't teach RTT. I use RTT on people. It's not my job to teach. I'm not Marisa Peer still teaches it. I think she just did a group class in Amsterdam, like today. She's in the process of it now. I just saw a picture of her in Amsterdam attending Gay Pride there. And so if you want to learn how to practice RTT, Google. They have a lot of website stuff. They are very big, so you cannot miss them. And you can find out when the next event is going to be, and if you can do some stuff online in the meantime. They do some events all over the world all the time. They've been very busy. It's growing a lot. I'm lucky to have been one of the starters. I've been doing it from the beginning. So one of her first, when she just started, more or less, 2017. I've been doing it for 8 years, and back then things were different. Now it has become a bit of a machine, but I understand that it's the nature of all things, and so why not? You know, they have a whole team. It's very, very organized, but they still teach. And so if you want to learn RTT, you have to learn from them. Don't learn from anyone else. Some people have tried this, they get sued. It's all trademarked, copyrighted. It's a very, very specific system, and it's very powerful. Now, RTT is only one tool that I use in my toolbox. There's a great understanding of the human mind that I've done myself all throughout the years from my own research, reading, development, and personal growth. And also by working with my patients over time. And so I won't be able to teach you, but I would suggest you to read up on that. And before you decide to start learning how to do this, is to have a session with someone experience it yourself, because it may not be something that you enjoy. Maybe you are more someone who is into, I don't know, NLP, CBT, EMDR, whatever. There's tons of protocols out there. RTT, as far as I'm concerned, and again, I'm biased, but it's the most powerful system that I know to deal with trauma, to deal with anything to do with subconscious mind, because we don't stay here. We go directly in the subconscious mind. And the beautiful thing about this is when I ask my clients about the past and what happened, they know it because they did it to themselves. They created those things in childhood. So there's no hit and miss. We always get it right. We don't guess. And so, yes, a lot of talking therapies address the cognitive, talking. The transformative therapies address the emotions. And this is where RTT is one of them, and it's so powerful. Charlotte, what's her name? Her name is Marisa Peer. Marisa Peer. She's my mentor. I love her to bits, and she's taught me an awful lot about the human mind. And her system is very, very special, very powerful. I wouldn't use it if it didn't work. And so, if you want to ask me more about it, Charlotte, I've done hypnotherapy. Maybe it's similar. It's hypnotherapy on steroid. It's much, much better. So I'm not saying this because tribalism, gangs, my group is better than yours. It's not like that. It's really because I understand hypnotherapy. A lot of my colleagues used to be hypnotherapists before they become RTT therapists. And they all say the same thing. And essentially, when you're a hypnotherapist, what you do, you add things on the top of the mind, so with an audio recording. But because we have not removed the original negative belief, it's still there. And so after a while, we need to add it again. And that's what people call topping. And so when I first started my career as an RTT therapist, a lot of people who had hypnotherapy before came to see me for a topping. And I was perplexed. I was like, why does it need a topping? Because with us, we don't do topping. We remove the problem and never comes back. Right? And so that's the difference. With RTT, we address literally the roots of the problems, and we remove them, the bad seeds, so that they never come back. There's no need for topping. Once we're changed, we never come back. Once we have raised our level of awareness, we never come back because we know more. It's just how it is. It's like if you know that you have a sink with some water coming up, you're never going to have to walk 2 hours to the well to get water anymore because there's a sink now. And so it's the same. And so that's the difference. Hypnotherapy has things that we use, but we have many more tools that are much, much better. There's some overlaps, but the way we use it, I believe, and it's not that I believe, I know, it's much better. Just based on so many colleagues of mine who were therapists before they became RTT therapists. They will all say the same thing to you. And so that's why I suggest always people, if they're going to get started in that profession, go straight to RTT. Sometimes people do hypnotherapy first because they think, yeah, maybe I'm going to start like that. It's cheaper, it's more accessible to me, but it's just bad math. It's better to invest in something that is powerful and that will allow you to have a long and thriving career. Yeah. So yeah, what do you think about this, Charlotte? Now, it's not to say that classic hypnotherapy has no benefit. I know that for people who want to stop smoking, people who have phobia, things like that, it can be helpful, but it can only go as far. It's got its limit. We address big stuff. The cases that I looked after, so many of them, we can't comprehend how bad it is. We can't imagine that it's even possible. And so that's the difference. But again, RTT is just a tool. And so it's important to know that you're going to learn that tool. And there are a lot of other tools. But the most important thing about you is not your tools. Very important. But the most important is who you are. as a person, as a human being, what you've been through, what did you understand about your own experience, what have you overcome, and what are your intentions, what do you do this for? Do you come from a good place, do you want to help people, or do you want to do this because you like the idea of it, for whatever reason? And so all of those things are very important. And I believe that it's often overlooked. When people start a new career, sometimes they're not sure about the validity of their diploma, of their certificate, and they forget that they are someone. And that someone is very special itself, because we have a whole life. And all our perspective, all the things we've been through are going to be used in therapy, regardless of the tools that we use. So there you go. And that's why I always say to people, one of the most important aspects of finding a good therapist is to find someone with whom we connect emotionally. C. Harris, sorry, are you saying RTT? Yes, RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy. I'm talking about Marisa Peer's protocol, the one that I've been using myself with my clients in my practice for 8 years now. C. Harris, my apologies, I'm very intrigued. You've been on for ages tonight. Great effort, still giving such an amazing and soothing energy. Thank you, C. Harris. Yes, I was here. I had a break. I was not non-stop, but I was here this morning for an hour. But I came back because I promised some people last night that I'll be here at 4 o'clock to talk about the OCD. But they didn't show up. But it's okay because you're here. Anyway, so if there's anything you want to talk about, please hit me. C. Harris, phew. Yes, I do have a life. I haven't been here for like, I don't know, 7 hours. That'll be a little bit much. That's their loss. It's not like that. We all have different priorities. Sometimes we have other things to do, or sometimes we forget about it. It happens. It's not like they're choosing, it's their loss, they're bad, have them. Not like that. I understand that we all have some desire in the moment, and things can change. And so I'm just doing my best to go along with what I feel is right for me to do in this moment. And that's it. But thank you for the support. I can understand where you're coming from. See, Harris, I don't mean it like that. Sorry, it's all right. I'm just joking. But it's important for me to always emphasize kindness, because it's a part of my conversation. Just 1 second, please. I'm going to put the fan on because it's a bit stuffy right now. And so because I'm really emphasizing kindness, empathy, and compassion, that's why I can be a little bit annoying on those things. But I know that you don't come from a bad place. I'm just taking the opportunity to highlight those things. C. Harris, couldn't agree more. Good energy feeds good energy. Yeah. We want to elevate the energy as much as we can. Understand that people who are lowering it, they do it because they hurt. It's not their fault. They don't choose it. Because if we judge those who are lowering the energy, now we are no much better than them. Winnie, that is a beautiful photo behind you. Yes, thank you. It's my parents, my mum and my dad, when they got married a long time ago, before I was even born. C. Harris, perfectly said. Thank you. Yeah, when people ask me about that picture, I always say that it's my tribute to them. And I had a difficult start in life that included relationships with them. And so it's my way to remind myself that I'm finally at peace with my past, with them. And it's reminding me that I came finally to that place where I'm able to genuinely love them unconditionally. And to me, it's something very special. Despite everything. Thank you for the little heart. Okay, so guys, if I don't get any question within the next 2 minutes, I will slowly go. But if you have anything you'd like to talk about, please hit me. I'm more than happy to stay a bit longer. But I need some action. I need some stimulation, some mental stimulation. C. Harris, thank you for sharing. Thank you for appreciating. Winnie, yes, when we are at peace with painful memories, we are the winners. Well, it's not being at peace with painful memories. Let me rephrase it. I understand what you mean, and you're right. But the way that I would say it is when we no longer associate pain with those memories. And this is what therapy does. The memories that we have about our past are always going to be part of us because we are our memories. But the emotional energy that we have associated with those memories is what we want to change. And so this is what healing is about. When I do RTT on people, I change the emotional intensity and nature of the memories. The memories stay the same, but how we feel about it is what changes. And so now when we're going to revisit those memories, there's no longer any fear, there's no hopelessness, helplessness, there's no anger, there's no injustice. There's just us being able to remember those things from a different angle, and we're no longer hurt by it. So we no longer need to have those defense mechanisms that we have created in childhood because of the fear, the anxiety, the hurt, and the anger, or the pain, or any of those things. And so we have heard once those memories are just memories and there's no negative emotions about it. And when it happens, we don't think about them anymore. Because the only reason why we have certain thoughts in our head is precisely because there are some emotional charge attached to it. So it's the emotion that keeps on bringing those memories at the forefront of our head, of our mind. Our mind is telling us those are important memories. They are all to do with fear and anger and injustice and hopelessness. So you need to remember those things. You need to keep on entertaining those memories. They're important. But the moment we disarm the emotional energy and it's just a memory, now it's in the back of the queue, in the archives of the old memories. We don't ever need to go back there. And if we ever do, it happened. It's okay. I was only a child. I understood. Now things are different. I don't need to have anxiety. I don't need to be addicted. I don't need to have anger issues anymore, for instance, or anything else. I don't need to have low self-esteem anymore. C. Harris, question. I really struggled with anger. We can talk about it. Anger is one of my strong specialism because I suffered from it myself for a long time. So do you have any condition? Have you been diagnosed with anything at all? ADHD, borderline personality disorder, CPTSD. Anger in itself is a normal response. It's an energy that is there to protect us. So there's nothing wrong about anger per se. The problem is when we get angry always, constantly, for the wrong reasons. Anger is there when we are facing fear. And so it's one of the tools that we have to overcome that fear. Fight, flight, freeze. Anger is fight. Anger is also what we use to set our limits, our boundaries. Stay where you are. Don't step into my territory. Those sort of things. So anger is not a bad thing. The problem is when we have a system that gets us to be triggered with anger all the time for the wrong reasons. Now that becomes a problem for ourselves and for people in our lives. And so there are millions of reasons as to why we could get angry. I need you to tell me more about yourself, and we can absolutely discuss this in greater depth if you want. Winnie Eileen, I find inner child work really helpful. What is your opinion? Yes, indeed. It's just a word. And so I don't know if there's an inner child work protocol. There may be. But to me, therapy, it's all about inner child work anyway. When we are doing therapy, we're addressing our emotional mind. Our emotional mind is the child's mind. That's it. It's that simple. Whenever we feel, in that moment, we have become the child once again. So whatever we're going to feel in the face of any situation is going to be how we felt as a child when we were facing the same sort of situation. So if we have not upgraded our program, we're going to be left at where we were, and we're going to react the same way. If I was helpless in front of a situation, and the only way I knew how to get out of a situation was to get angry, now, in the face of adversity, I'm going to get angry. It's my system. I'm back into that emotional habit. And so understanding that is what we do to heal. We want to realize that every time we feel an energy of emotion, it is our child talking to ourselves, telling us something about ourselves. Look, this is important. And then What we want to do first and foremost is to feel it in ways that are safe, of course. But after that, once we feel that, we can let it go. So there's a way to understand how to channel those energies of emotions and feelings. And then after that, we can address the program and upgrade it. In the moment, we can only feel it and acknowledge it. But because we don't know this, we've not been taught how to do this, we try to avoid, we don't want to feel certain feelings. We're repressing all those feelings, those emotions, and then we create problems for ourselves. If we repress an emotion, we're going to create some secondary emotions that come to hide the first one and do the job instead. And so the example that I gave earlier on, I don't know if it was, I think it was today, I can't remember because I do a lot of lives. I talk to a lot of people. But for instance, men who suffer from toxic masculinity, for instance, they've been taught that in society, a man must be strong and brave and successful. And so they must never be vulnerable. They can never be weak. They can never seek help. They can never feel sad. Sad is frowned upon in society for a man. But anger is all right. A man can be angry because anger is synonym to power, strength, destruction. And so now, most men who grew up in a patriarchal society are going to believe that, at the subconscious level, they're going to believe that sadness bad, anger good. And so now if they are sad, every time that they are sad, instead of being sad, they're going to be angry. So I don't know if that's the case for you, but that could be that. A lot of men, if you know some men who always get angry and get triggered and react to everything all the time, it could be depression. It could be a depression that is expressed through the anger. And that's why so many men go under the radar and no one knows that they are depressed, because they don't show the symptoms that we think they should show if they are depressed. And this is what the definition is wrong. When people think about depression as sadness, crying, or not being able to feel anything, this is more of a feminine expression of depression. And again, it's not something that is biological. It's because of how society has conditioned us. So it's within a patriarchal system. But because of that, many men cannot feel sad, and instead they get angry, and no one sees that they are depressed. They don't even know themselves. And that's why so many of them, since they don't seek help because it's weak, end up unaliving themselves. And no one saw it coming. And so that's how, in that instance, anger has become the secondary emotion to sadness. But if you twist it around, it goes the same in reverse with women in a patriarchal society. They've been taught to be quiet, to be good, not to make any noise. Good girls are seen, not heard. And so the one thing that is impossible for a woman is to be angry. You can't be angry, but you can be sad. And so now a lot of women, because of that, they are repressing their anger. They can't express it, and instead they cry and they're sad. So again, those are just examples. There are many different variations of that, but if we can understand the nature of our emotions and feelings and how society has shaped us to function in a certain way, we can understand so much more about ourselves. Do you find it interesting? C. Harris? C. Harris, are you a man or a woman? Or how do you identify yourself? C. Harris, I feel guilty afterwards and know I lose my ability to communicate and empathize. So yes, so when we get angry, then a lot of process happen based on our belief, based on our conditioning, but often we feel shame. I've been angry, I lost my cool, I lost my control, I'm a bad person, I'm a bad seed. And so shame, what you call guilt, can turn into shame. So the difference is that guilt is based on what we do, shame is about who we are. But very often, because again, we live in a society that is very mean, and that is all shame-driven, we end up experiencing shame. I'm guilty about the things that I've done, but I've done those things because I am a bad person. Shame. And so because of the shame, you lose your ability to communicate and empathize. I think this is quite straightforward, isn't it? Do correct me if I'm wrong, though. Can you relate to any of the things that I said? C. Harris, I'm finding hard to get assessment, but GP has said anxiety and depression. I suspect ADHD and anxiety PTSD. Okay, I'm not surprised. So do your assessment, take your time, There's a long queue, but do your own research, read more, watch some more videos, go on YouTube, come to my live, ask me questions, and then that will help you understand more about all those things and where you fit in. And the more you understand yourself, the more you can address your problems. C. Harris, I get angry when I feel misunderstood, as in misunderstood intentions mainly. I don't like to disappointment people. Okay, so now we can talk about the belief. So thank you for giving me this. You said, I get angry when I feel misunderstood. So what hurts you is the meaning that you give to a situation. So someone said something, and you're going to think, they said that thing, they didn't get me. But what really annoys you is not that they misunderstood you. What annoys you is the belief that you have about yourself. They misunderstand me because they're not trying hard enough, because they don't care about me, because they don't see me, because I'm not important, because I have no value. Or I know those things. Those are the real reason why you suffer. Because let's say, read again, misunderstood. Let's say if you meet a Japanese tourist, and that Japanese tourist asks you, where is Big Ben? And you say something, but they don't get it, they will misunderstand you. You will not get angry. They misunderstood you because they don't speak the same language. You don't get angry. But other situations, you're going to get angry. Why? Because of the belief that you have about yourself. If someone doesn't get it, it means that they don't care about me. It means that they're not trying hard enough. It means that I am invisible. It means that I'm not safe, or whatever that you may think about yourself. And so, in regards to that specific trigger, realize that you suffer from a belief. I don't know what it is precisely, because we barely know each other and I only have a few words on the screen here. But from what I've seen so far, based on my intuition, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that your problem is the belief that you have about yourself. There's something about some sort of insecurities, and the way people talk to you, the things that they say to you, or the things that they don't say to you, are going to be interpreted as, I am not important, I don't matter, or those sort of things. And if you can change the meaning of that, you wouldn't be infuriated anymore. Maybe it's because they couldn't hear me. Maybe it's because we don't have the same sort of logic. Maybe because whatever. There are millions of reasons as to why people misunderstand us, and it's okay. All we have to do is to calmly try to repeat to get ourselves understood. We can find a way to communicate better until eventually they get it. That's how we fix it. Does it make sense? I don't like to disappoint people. So that's something else. Is it to do with the misunderstanding? I don't like to disappoint people. So this to me screams people pleaser. I don't want to disappoint people. Again, trauma response. Now we feel that we always need to make sure that everyone is happy, everyone is looked after, everyone is at peace, and it's our job to do this. But so this is something that you need to work on yourself. Right? Realize that this is something to do with your trauma, and you can work on that. I used to be the same because of mine, but now I couldn't care about disappointing people or not. I really don't. I do my best to be kind. I do my best to do what I can to make sure that everyone is happy within my comfort zone, within my limitations, within my power. But I don't care about disappointing others because I understand that everyone is different and everyone is projecting their reality and their insecurities on others. And so there's only so much we can do to make sure that we please everyone. Anyway, we can never please everyone. It's impossible. So we might as well please one person, ourselves. Right? Self first is not selfish. Okay. Winnie Ellen, I have to go now, but thank you so much for today. Give me a smile. Your husband feeding the pigeons. Yes, he's a very big animal lover, like me, but more than I, because he's a vegetarian and I'm not. So there you go. But yes, I will tell him that. He'll be happy to hear. Cheesy Bites. Hi, Didi. Sending well wishes. Thank you, Cheesy Bites. C. Harris, correct. Okay, thank you. C. Harris, thank you very much. Wise. Okay. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, C. Harris. I'm glad that some of the things hit home. Again, I think I'm going to go slowly, unless if you have any question, I'm more than happy to stay and finish any conversation that is started. See, Harris, they resonated. Fantastic, thank you. But if none, then I will just resume my day with other things, and I will come back some other time. So if you are new to my channel, I am both on YouTube and TikTok. I try to come on YouTube on Saturdays and TikTok evening weekdays whenever my schedule allows. So if you enjoy this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on TikTok so that you can come back. If you know any friends who could benefit from my help, please get them involved. I also share 3 short videos every day, both on TikTok and YouTube. The newest ones are on TikTok, and the ones on YouTube are 2 months behind. So there's a bit of diversity for people who are following me on both platforms. And I come live, and that's it. If you need any advice, more details about me as a therapist and coach, also there's a link on my website. There's a link off my website on my profile, and all you need to do is to send me an email from there so we can organize a free discovery call and see if we can work together. Other than that, I think I'm going to go. Thank you guys for chatting with me. The ones looking in the background, come back next time if you have something you want to ask me. And also, all the live video that I do on YouTube, I leave them on my profile. And so this one, just like all the other ones, if you want to replay it, it's going to be on the live section of my YouTube profile page. Okay, let me see if there's any last comment. William A. Hi, William A. Can I ask a question? Yes, please. Sure. What would you like to ask, please, William? Lynn, how do you overcome shame and embarrassment about talking about a subject I know needs attention? Let me try to understand this. How do you overcome shame and embarrassment about talking about a subject I know needs attention? I don't understand your question. So there's shame and embarrassment about what? About talking about a subject that you know needs attention. I think I understand. So maybe it could be just, maybe it's something to do with, let's say if you go to the doctor and you want to show something that is happening in your private part, there's some embarrassment. You don't want to show your bum or something like that. Maybe, just an example, but you have to do this. Is that what you mean? Let me think about this. You have to become pragmatical. You have to come from a place of rationality. If you're rational, if you come from that place, from the rational mind, then you know that this has to be done. There's no place for emotions when you are pragmatical. When you look at yourself from an emotional perspective, now the shame is telling you that in that moment you have been hijacked by your emotional mind again. So whatever that it is, even if it's got nothing to do with my example, if you have shame about something, if you need to address that thing, you want to shift from that place to that place, from here to there. First, you breathe until you are resetting how you feel, so you feel good. Yeah. And then from a place of mental clarity, then focus on the concept of what you have to talk about without the emotional charge. Be very pragmatical. Put your I don't know, manager hat, the one in charge, the one dealing with stuff. And then see a problem for what it is. A needs to go to B. How do we go from here to there? That's it. Simple. But unless you give me more details, that'll be the sort of advice that I'd give. Does that help in any way, Lynn? C. Harris, have a joyous day. Thank you. Winnie Eileen, epic job today with all the background noise. Yes, it's calmed down now. So this is good. Very often it's like that. When you stop focusing on something, eventually it disappears. But the more you focus on something, the worse it feels. Lynn, I get emotional and upset talking about a certain traumatic event as I'm embarrassed about it, as I blame myself for the outcome. So what you need to do is to find someone with whom you can connect emotionally so that it's easy for you to tell them. Very often, it's not about what you have to talk about. It's who you're going to talk about. If you talk to someone that is smirking, then their body language is going to make you feel even more insecure. So find someone who has enough empathy, compassion, patience, humanity, experience in what they do to listen to you. If it's not a professional, if it's a friend, make sure that you are with someone who is empathetic, someone who is as sensitive as you are, someone who's been through similar things as you so that they can get you, so that they understand you. People who don't, it's not their fault, they just don't. And so if I've been used to mock, laugh, belittle others when they are talking about the sort of subject, it's on them. But they will not help you, and it's not on you to change how you feel. It's for you to find the right person with whom you can share that thing that is so important to you. Does it make sense? Lynn? I'm just waiting for the answer. Tea. Lynn, I'm going to hope that you get what I said. Remember, it's all recorded, so we can replay it again, but I'm going to go now. It's time for me to resume my days. Again, I'll be back. So I'll be back next Saturday for sure. I'm planning to try to come sometime in the weekdays, but I don't know. It all depends on my schedule. And also, you can catch me on TikTok. There's something from Lynn. I've tried talking with a family member, but they are too close to the situation. In that case, don't tell them. If they are too close to the situation, if it makes you difficult to talk to them, maybe you're not ready to tell them. Or maybe you need to bite the bullet. If it's very important, just tell them, and you may burst in tears, you may shake, you may scream, and if you do that, they will see the importance of what you have to tell them. They will see how important it is for you. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that you are not able to control how you feel. Right? If you have to tell them, do tell them, and whichever way it comes out, will tell them more about the situation than the words that you're going to use. But if you find it impossible, don't. Or maybe find a different way. Send an email, send a message, send a voice recording. I don't know. Be creative, find a different way that is comfortable to you. Lynn, I will try to overcome embarrassment and open up to someone soon. Thanks, Didi. Don't try to overcome your embarrassment. Be embarrassed when you say it, so that they feel this and that they can understand you emotionally. You don't need to be prepared. You don't need to be ready. You don't need to be in any way. You just want to pass on a message. So be genuine, be honest, be transparent, be authentic. Say it the way it is, in whichever way you can, and that will do the job. We think too much about coming across in a certain way. And we forget that we are pretending, we are masking in this moment. Instead, embrace who you are, accept who you are, express yourself as you are. And that will do a much better job to explain to them your situation. That will be my advice. I know that it's not easy because there's a lot of things going on, but that will be the best thing to do if you can do this. Okay, guys, I'm going to go now. Again, I love you all. Look after yourself. Take care. Remember to be kind to others if you can. But if you can't, at least be kind to yourself. And I'll see you sometime next week. Okay? Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.